Hello and welcome to Online Yoga and Wellness. I'm Melisse and I'm here today to guide you through our 45-minute Hatha flow. Today we are going to be looking at the warrior asanas or poses, as you might know them better as. So we're going to go through the different stages to get to our warriors, going through 1, 2, and then doing our warrior 3 towards the end. Please listen to your body. I'm here as a guide to help you to create the best practice for you today and when you're practicing this flow. We will start in our cross-legged seated position. Sitting up nice and tall, lifting through the crown of the head, lengthening through the spine. Resting the hands on the knees, either the front of the wrist or the back of the wrist with palms facing up. Just wriggling out any bits of tension, any bits of uncomfortableness, adjusting the clothes if you need to find where you're most comfortable for the next few moments whilst we bring our awareness to the mat. Taking a nice deep inhale through the nose. On your exhale, gently closing the eyes down if that feels okay for you. At the same time as sitting up nice and tall, drawing those shoulder blades down the back. Keeping that core locked on to help lengthen through the spine. Maybe lifting the chin slightly. Or maybe bowing the head down to look more within yourself. Keeping that breath in and out through the nose. Just bringing your awareness to the sounds around you. Those sounds that are nice and close. And those sounds that are further away. Really dropping into that awareness of our hearing and those sounds. Now bringing our awareness to our bodies. Maybe being aware of any points of soreness, any tension that might be in the physical body. Taking notice of the feeling of the body grounding down through the sit bones, maybe the feet or the ankle of one foot touching the mat. Maybe both ankles and feet touching the mat. Taking notice of where the wrists are resting on the knees. Maybe the soft touch of your clothing on your skin. Becoming aware of that breath touching the upper lip as you exhale through the nose. Keeping those inhales and exhales nice and deep, nice and steady. Bringing your awareness to how you're feeling right in this moment. Maybe there's a lot going on in your world. Maybe you're feeling a little uneasy. Maybe it's hard to sit still. Maybe you're a little bit anxious. Maybe something amazing has just happened and you feel so happy. Whatever it is, just try to sit with it. Trying to keep the awareness on the breath. Letting whatever those thoughts are come and go with the inhale and exhale of the breath. Any thoughts that pop to mind, just sitting with them, maybe creating some space around them and trying to let them go. Just be aware of what you are doing right now and know that this is exactly where you're meant to be. Taking a few more inhales and exhales here. Really letting those sit bones become nice and heavy. Trying to breathe through any tension, any uneasiness that might be creeping up in the back. Keeping that core locked on to help keep that back nice and strong. Take 3 really nice deep inhales. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Again, inhale nice and deeply for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Just doing 2 more there on your own, counting the inhales, the holds, and the exhales. Bring that awareness to the breath and how creating deeper and longer inhales and exhales, it can help to shift the mindset and calm the mind down. When you're ready, opening the eyes. Just bringing those arms down by your side, resting the fingertips, the palms on the floor. Lifting right shoulder, dropping it down to the floor. Lifting left shoulder, drop it down to the floor. Lift both shoulders right up to the ears, scrunch them up high, drop them to the floor. Maybe rolling one and then the other. Nice small circles through the shoulders, just bringing some awareness back into our body. Maybe rolling them back the opposite way if you were rolling them around. Finding stillness, sitting up nice and tall once again. Hands lift all the way to the sky, gaze lifts to the palms. Right palm comes down to the floor just behind your cheek, bottom cheek, and your hand comes to the right knee. Just sitting up nice and tall here. Going to come in for a little twist. So just gently twisting to look over that right shoulder. At the same time as twisting from your torso, keeping that core locked on to help create that twist. Stay for the exhale. And as you inhale the hands both back overhead again. Exhale to the opposite side. Left hand comes behind the left bottom cheek. Right hand comes to the left knee. Sitting up nice and tall. Exhale and twisting over the top of that left shoulder. Keep those shoulder blades drawing down the back. Trying to keep that breath, the inhale and exhale through the nose. Inhale, sit a little taller, and exhale, trying to twist a little further. Stay here for the next inhale. And as you exhale, release the twist. Hands circle high above the head. Palms come together. Hands to your heart center. Closing down the eyes for a moment here. Recentering, gathering the thoughts. Maybe setting an intentional mantra for your practice. It's really nice to set these at the start of our practice to help bring the awareness back to the breath and bring the mind back as well. Maybe it's something like, I am strong. I am confident. I am willing to learn. I am ready for good things to come. Something that is going to be a positive thing for you to repeat throughout this practice today. When you're ready, crack open those eyes. Hands come to one side, kicking those feet out to the side of your body, rolling over into our tabletop. Our tabletop being one of our foundational poses. So those shoulders are stacking over the wrists, hips are stacking over those knees. Running through a few cat-cows to warm up through the back, the lower back and the upper back. So inhale, drop the belly for cow. Lift the head, lift the tailbone. Exhale, pull that belly in, round through the back, tuck the head, tuck the tailbone. Inhale for cow, drop the belly, lift the head, lift the tailbone. Exhale for cat, pull that belly in, lock on that core, tuck the head, tuck the tailbone. Inhale, drop the belly for cow. Exhale, pull that belly all the way in for cat. Just running through 3 more here on your own with your own breath. Making sure the pressure is in all 4 corners of the hands. The shoulders stay nice and strong. Keep the movements nice and controlled. When you're ready, finding stillness. Coming back to our nice flat back in our tabletop position. Grounding down through the left hand, open up that right hand all the way to the sky. Inhale, exhale, threading the needle underneath that left arm. Bending through the left hand. Reaching that right shoulder down towards the floor as best you can. Keeping those hips stacked over the knees. Stay here for another breath. And as you inhale, ground down through that left hand, opening that right hand all the way up to the sky. Hand plants down to the floor. Running through one cat-cow here. Inhale, drop the belly for cow. Exhale, pull the belly in, tuck the head under. Finding our tabletop once again. Check your alignment. No dumping through the shoulders, really pressing into those hands. Ground down through the right hand. Inhale the left hand high to the sky. Exhale, threading that needle underneath the right armpit. Lowering that shoulder down towards the floor, maybe resting the head on the ground. At the same time, trying to keep those hips stacked over the top of those knees. Stay here for the next exhale. And as you inhale, ground down through the right hand, open that left hand all the way to the sky. Plant both hands back down to the floor. Inhale for cow, drop the belly, lift the head, lift the tailbone. Exhale for cat, pull that belly in, tuck the head, tuck the tailbone. Here in our tabletop, just giving those hips a little sway from side to side, creating a little bit of movement, warming them up. Maybe adding some small circles, left to the back, coming around to the right, forwards a little bit. Reversing those circles. Sending those hips around in a circle, keeping the movement nice and controlled. When you're ready, finding stillness in our tabletop position. Getting set up to come into our downward facing dog. So our hands come out in front a little, as wide as the shoulders, and maybe a little wider if that's more comfortable for you. Tucking those toes under at the back. Sending those hips and that tailbone high to the sky. Those knees can be as bent as you need them to be. At the same time as having those bent knees, if you need to, pull those heels down towards the mat. Maybe we can pedal out that dog, bending left knee, bending right knee. Pulling the chest back towards the feet. Trying to let that head and neck relax. And when you're ready, finding stillness. Again, keep those knees bent as much as you need to. Otherwise, straightening out through the legs, heels pulling towards the floor. When you're ready, coming to the balls of the feet. Tiptoeing those feet all the way to the front of our mat. Just running through a few sun salutations here to warm up the body. Folding over those legs. Bend through the knees as much as you need to. And when you're ready, unrolling one vertebrae at a time, all the way up to our mountain pose, shoulder roll at the top. Hands circle up to the sky. Hands come together through heart center, forward folding at the hips. Bending those knees as much as you need to in our forward fold. Just hanging here for a moment.
Maybe bring your awareness back to that mantra you said at the start of our practice. I am strong. I am strong. I am strong. Stay for your next exhale. And as you inhale for our halfway lift, nice flat backs. Hands come to the shin. Gaze forward just a little. Exhale forward, folding over those knees, bending through the knees, stepping the feet back into our low plank position. Hands are stacked underneath the shoulders. Lowering our high to low push-up all the way to the floor. Hands should be framing the rib cage, feet are pressing into the floor. Inhale for our cobra. Use those back muscles to help lift you up. Exhale back down to the floor. Coming to meet you in downward facing dog. Maybe that's straight up to downward dog. Maybe that's coming through the knees into our downward dog. Bending through the knees as much as you need to. At the same time, pulling those hands, those heels down towards the mat. Hands are out in front, shoulder width apart, or maybe a little more. Finding your breath here. If it's gotten a little fast or a little choppy, trying to slow down the breath. Bring it back to its natural rhythm. In and out through the nose. And when you're ready, we're going to inhale our right leg high to the sky for our three-legged dog. We're going to step, shuffle, however you get it there in between the hands at the front. We're going to lift our bodies up into our high crescent lunge. Keeping the hips facing forward, both feet are facing the same way. Keeping a nice bend in that back knee if you need to, dropping it down to the floor if that's more accessible. Keeping those toes tucked on that back foot. If you're in our high crescent, keeping that knee stacked over the ankle. We're going to turn that back foot onto a 45-degree angle. Keeping that front knee bent and stacked over the ankle, we're going to lift the hands up to the sky. Trying to keep that torso nice and square to the front of the mat. We're going to exhale into our warrior two. So the back foot comes flat to the back of your mat on a 90-degree angle. The front knee stays stacked over that ankle. Try not to let the legs move and arms float out in front, gazing over that middle finger. Keeping strong in the legs. It's quite an intense pose. The stronger our bodies get, the stronger it helps our minds to become. The stronger our minds are, the stronger our confidence is. The more we can believe in ourselves. When you're ready, cartwheel the hands down to the floor. Both feet face the front of the mat. Plant those hands down to the floor. Step that foot back to meet the other one, however you get it there, into our downward facing dog. Finding our child's pose now for a little rest. So knees come as wide as the mat. Big toes to touch, sinking those hips back down to the heels. Arms are lengthening out in front. Sometimes our yoga asanas or poses can create some heat in our bodies, helping us to become stronger and stronger through not only our physical body, but also through our mind having to hold
those intense poses, sometimes for a little bit longer than maybe we want to, but at the end of getting through that and breathing through those poses, the feeling of achievement, it can be pretty amazing. When you're ready, pressing into those hands, lifting those hips back up, bringing the knees into hip distance apart, tucking the toes at the back, lifting those hips high to the sky. Holding here for a moment, pedaling out those legs if you need to, bending through the knees if you need to. Maybe just finding stillness hanging here in our downward facing dog. When you're ready, left leg lifts high to our sky, to our three-legged dog. Stepping that foot through between the hands, however you can get it there. Coming up into our high crescent lunge. So again, keeping strong through both feet, both legs, bending through that back knee, drop it to the floor if you need to, into our low crescent lunge. Otherwise, keeping nice and strong through those legs. Try and keep that inhale and exhale out through the nose, nice and steady. When you're ready, coming into our warrior one, so that back foot comes onto a 45-degree angle. Trying to keep those hips squared to the front of the mat as best you can. Hands come overhead. Keep that torso facing the front of your mat. Stay for the inhale. Inhale, those hands lengthen through the spine a little more. And when you're ready, exhale into your warrior two. So that back foot comes back to the back of the mat on a 90-degree angle. Arms come out long, gazing over that middle finger at the front. Shoulder blades come down the back. Keep that core nice and strong. Breathe through the intensity that this may bring. Hold for one more breath, maybe lengthen through the crown of the head a little more. Exhaling those hands down to the mat. Step that foot back however you get it there. Coming back into our downward facing dog. Staying here for a moment. And when you're ready, opening those knees as wide as your mat, big toes to touch, sinking that bottom down towards the heels. Arms are lengthening out in front. If that breath has got a little choppy, just calming it back down. Maybe coming back to that mantra or intention that we set at the start of our practice. I am strong. I am confident. I am ready to learn. I am able. I can do it. Take one more nice deep inhale here. As you exhale, open up that mouth, side out, sink those hips a little deeper. Again, take a nice deep inhale here. And as you exhale, open up that mouth and side out. One more time, inhale through the nose. And exhale, as you exhale, exhale through an open mouth, all the doubt, all the worries, all the fear.
This time as you inhale goodness, inhale the strength, inhale being strong. And as you exhale all the negative thoughts out. And when you're ready, inhaling back up through our tabletop position. Knees come back into center, tucking those toes under at the back, lifting those knees high to the sky, tailbone lifting, heels reaching for the mat. When you're ready, inhale the left leg high to the sky. This time pulling the foot through between the hands, adjusting that back foot to a 45-degree angle, keeping that knee stacked over the ankle at the front, lifting straight up into our warrior one. Again, trying to keep those hips facing the front of the mat. Shoulders are square to the front of the mat. Shoulder blades reaching down, fingertips lifting for the sky. Nice and strong through the whole of the body. And when you're ready, opening up into our warrior two. So adjusting that back foot to our 90-degree angle. Front knee stays stacked over that ankle. Arms come as wide as the room. Strong gaze over that front hand, the middle finger. Try to keep that breath in and out through the nose. And when you're ready, straightening through that front leg, turning both feet out, to this long edge of the mat. Hands come to the hips, standing up nice and tall, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, forward folding over those legs. Hands come down to the mat. If the hands don't quite reach the mat, bringing them to the shins, to the ankles, letting that whole body forward fold over those legs. When you're ready, inhaling for a halfway lift, making those backs nice and flat. Hands come to the shins, to the knees, to the hips, slowly rolling back up to our standing position in our wide-legged fold. Pointing the toes on the opposite foot towards the front of our mat, keeping our back foot in our warrior two. Bending through the front knee, coming into our warrior two on the opposite side. Arms come as wide as the room, gaze over that middle finger of the front hand. Staying nice and strong through the body. Telling yourself that you can do this. You can hold this pose for 2 more nice deep inhales and exhales. I can do this. And when you're ready, straighten through that bent knee. Hands come to the hips, both feet come to face the long edge of the mat. Last time, folding over those legs. Hands come to the floor if that's possible. Otherwise, maybe to the shins. Knees can be bent a little bit if you need to. Otherwise, bringing those hands to the floor, folding over those legs. Stay here for the exhale, and as you inhale for a halfway lift. Slowly step those feet back into the center. Hands come to the shins for our halfway lift. Exhale, folding over those feet. Inhaling one vertebrae at a time up to our mountain pose, shoulder roll at the top. Hands come open. Pull those shoulder blades down the back, stand a little taller. Finding your mantra or intention set at the start, or repeating after me. I can do this. I am strong. I am strong in both mind and body. Relax the hands by the sides. Coming all the way down to the mat, however you get there. Placing the bottom on the mat. Feet flat on the floor, knees are bent. Coming down onto your back. Opening those feet as wide as your mat. Just letting those knees fall from left to right. Windscreen wiping through those hips. Opening those arms nice and wide. And when you're ready, pull both knees into the chest. Clasping the hands together if you can, otherwise just holding on to the shins. Give yourself a little rock from side to side. Maybe even a little hug, maybe tuck the head up. Maybe pull the knees in a little closer. And when you're ready, lengthening the left leg as long as the mat. The right knee pulls into the chest. Pull it in nice and tight, flexing through both toes. Setting that breath back down. Pulling the left leg back into the chest to meet the other, maybe clasping the fingers together again. A little rock from side to side, maybe a little bear hug if that is what you need right now. And once again, pulling the left knee into the chest, lengthening through the right leg all the way to the bottom end of your mat, pulling that left knee into the chest. Keep the shoulder and the neck and the head relaxed to the floor. When you're ready, dropping the left foot down to the mat, pulling the right foot in to come flat to the floor next to the left, keeping them hip distance apart, lifting the right leg high to the sky, dropping that right ankle on top of the left knee, opening that knee out wide, staying there if that feels okay. Otherwise, reaching through behind the thigh or in front of the shin, pulling that knee back into the chest, flexing those toes. Any variation of this one will give you a nice stretch, depending on what your body needs today. Maybe starting to soften down those eyes. Letting that breath fall back into its natural rhythm. Letting go of that knee if you had hold of it, dropping the left foot down to the floor if it was lifted. Unraveling the right foot, planting the foot onto the floor, swapping sides. So left leg come high to the sky. Left ankle over right knee. Open up that left knee as wide as what feels good for you. If this is enough, please feel free to stay here. You need a little more stretch in your life. Reaching through behind the thighs, lifting the right foot off the floor, or reaching through in front of the shin. Flexing through those toes, pulling them back towards the shins. Kind of keep the head and the shoulders relaxing to the floor. You should feel a really nice stretch down the back of that hammy. Back of that hamstring. Releasing that leg, drop both feet down to the floor. Open the arms as wide as your room. Open the feet as wide as your mat. One more time, windscreen wipe, bring those legs from side to side. Letting them fall to the right. Letting them fall to the left. Bring them back up into center. Arms come around the knees, pulling the knees into the chest for one more bear hug. Tucking the head up to the knees if that feels all right, to give yourself one nice big hug. If it's the only one you get today, make it a good one. And as you exhale, let go of the legs. Rolling onto your side, coming up to sit in a cross-legged seated position one more time. Closing down those eyes. Adjust the clothing where you need to. Resting the arms on the knees, palms facing down or palms facing up. Lengthen through the spine. Close down the eyes if that feels okay. At the same time, open up that heart. As you inhale and exhale, thanking yourself for making it onto your mat, for working through those strong warriors, for putting your mind and your body into complete awareness. As we sit here in our Shavasana, just bringing the awareness to the breath. The inhale and the exhale. Maybe repeating the count. 1, 2. Maybe repeating that mantra and intention on each inhale and exhale. Trying to keep your awareness right in this moment. Let the shoulders soften. You have the hands palm up, maybe letting them fall so they're face down or wherever feels comfortable. Letting the
sit bones ground into the floor. Letting the legs become a little heavier. Soften the eyes a little more. And last but not least, for these last few moments, let that tongue drop from the roof of your mouth. And let your whole body drift into a peaceful silence. When you're ready, gently making that inhale longer and deeper than the last. Maybe giving the fingers and toes a little wriggle. Maybe creating nice little circles with the neck. Just bringing some awareness back into the physical body. If you're doing circles with the neck, just reversing the circle. Nice and steady movements. Maybe finding that mantra one more time. Bringing that heart, hands to heart center. Bowing down the head just a little. Finishing off our practice, together we say Namaste.